Traders, the things you are going to learn in this video is very much unlike anything you have ever seen in the trading space. And this is going to be fundamentals and technicals blended together to give you absolute clarity in the market so that you know what to expect and the direction that the market is going to take over a long period of time, at least within the next 3 to 4 years, or at least within the next 3 years combined. There is a very good chance that this is what the market is likely going to do. So in your best interest, I'll encourage you to stick around to the end. So by the way, if you find this video on TikTok, Instagram, wherever you find this video, be sure to follow, like, or subscribe if you find it on YouTube. So what we're going to discuss today is the potential behavior of the dollar depending on which political party is in the office in the United States of America. And I'm going to be showing you practical examples here on the chart, starting all the way back from 2001. In 2001, it was George Bush. By 2009, Barack Obama took over. In 2017, it was Donald Trump. And subsequently, it was Joe Biden. And then we have Donald Trump again. So across these presidents of the United States, they come from a mixture of two different parties, either Republicans or they are Democrats. But the dollar behaves differently depending on who is in office and depending on which political party is in charge. And also, the Federal Reserve tends to behave differently depending on who is in the office. So when it's a Republican, the Federal Reserve tends to not want to lower the rates. But when you have Democrats in there, the Federal Reserve tends to always lower the rates. And you must understand that lower interest rates work miracles within the economy. And a lot of the times is the Federal Reserve pulling the strings behind the scene, but it looks like it's the president that is pulling the strings. So if you're not very good at understanding these things, you might misunderstand what is going on and you think it's the president that is doing a good job, or suddenly you think it's the president that is doing a bad job. Just like in recent times, we have seen Donald Trump try to force the hand of the Federal Reserve, but the Federal Reserve has not budged. So you can see that the behavior of the Federal Reserve when it's a Republican and the behavior of the Federal Reserve when it's a Democrat are two different things. Now, let's look at the charts. If you look at the charts here, these lines here, these lines you see on the charts represent the years. This is 2001, and then in 2009, and this is 2017 here. This is 2021, and once again 2025. And you can see I have labeled them. So here we have George Bush. Between 2001 and 2009, it was George Bush. That's the younger George Bush, the son of the first one. And then after that, he handed over to Barack Obama. And of course, Barack Obama came in just right when the United States economy was coming out of the financial crisis, the 2008 financial crisis. It was a very, very serious situation. I think Alan Greenspan was the Federal Reserve Chairman. Was it Alan Greenspan or Ben Bernanke? I'm not exactly sure who the Federal Reserve Chairman was at the time. And then after that, we had Donald Trump. But I want you to understand something. Take a look at this. You could see that under a Republican, George Bush is Republican. I should have put an R here. George Bush is Republican. But under George Bush, you could see how the dollar sank. All of these you can see all the gains that the dollar pulled up during Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton took office, I think, in 1994. I think it must have been January 1994. It was somewhere here. January 1994. Must have taken office somewhere here. So he took office in 1994, and he was in office all the way to, was it 94? He took office on 92. I think it was 92 or 93. He took office in 1993. Yes, he took office in January of 1993. And that was Bill Clinton. So this space you see here is Bill Clinton. Now, this is Bill Clinton era, and you could see how there was a beautiful rally on the dollar. You could see this rally on the dollar here, very long rally in the Bill Clinton era. And when you have this type of rally, it looks as if the president is working miracles, but trust me, it's the Federal Reserve doing its magic behind the scenes. And guess what? When Bush came, you could see nearly every single gain. In fact, not nearly, every single gain that was made during the Clinton era was wiped out in the market. You have to understand these things on a granular level if you're going to really do well in trading. It's not just technical analysis. You have to understand these things the way they work. You can see how the Bush era wiped out every single gain that was made on the dollar during the Clinton era. And guess what? Barack Obama stepped in. And when Obama stepped in, something began to happen. You could see there was a recovery. And we did not complete the recovery within that Obama administration. When Trump came, the correction started. You could see how the moment Trump took over in 2017, there was a massive drop when he was, of course, wrestling with China, and then, pulled a few strings, and then we thought it was going to be a recovery, but guess what? It pulled back down again. Then it raised the entire gains. and then came Biden. Biden took over in January of 2021 and was in office. So when you can see what happened here, the moment Biden took over, there was a massive rally to continue the rally that started under Obama. Mind you, we have still not touched the high produced on the dollar during the Clinton era. This is a high from what year is this? That's a high from 2001. That's a high from, so this is Clinton's high. If we just take this out. So this is George Bush's high, right? And we haven't still completed that. And then comes Trump. The moment Trump takes over in 2025, in January of 2025, he took over this year, we have since been on a slippery slope to the downside. That is what the market has been doing. So you must understand the tendencies of the dollar under a Republican or a Democrat president. And what this tells us so far is that if we could have all of this rally, take a look at this, if we could get the bars pattern out and we could have all of this rally under Bush, what is just starting under Trump is far too small. This is a child's play compared to what could potentially happen under Donald Trump. There's a good chance that Trump could wipe out all the gains made by Biden, just the same way George Bush wiped out all the gains made by Clinton. I'm not making this up. This is history. So if you look at it this way, it tells you one thing. When you get on the dollar and you come over to a pair like, let's say, and that's why something like Bitcoin and all of those, currencies, all of those currencies and all of those cryptos are likely going to shoot up. So what this now tells you is that when you come into something like Euro USD and you have a look at this pair, let's say this is Euro USD, and of course we still have 18 days and 4 hours left in the month of July, there's a good chance that we could simply pull back into the zone and continue to trade high all the way to these points here. This is what you should be looking at. This is how you should be approaching it, potentially, right? And of course, we equally have GBP USD. We have an untapped high in here. There's a good chance that all we could have is just a slight pullback and we continue. Why? History has shown us that the behavior of the dollar and the behavior of the Federal Reserve under a Republican administration and the behavior of the market under a Democrat administration are two completely different things. And just like I have highlighted here, in fact, let me put in Bill Clinton's name here. I'll put his name in. So we have Clinton. That's it. So Clinton, rally. Bush, drop. Obama, rally. Trump, correction. Biden, rally. As much as Biden was called Sleepy Joe, there was a rally under him. Even though that when Trump came into office in the first tenure, a lot of the policies he had against China, he slapped out some tariffs against China, and those tariffs became an excuse for the market to drop. When Biden took office, he did not reverse some of those policies. He did not reverse some of those tariffs. He retained those tariffs. But guess what? The dollar still rallied. So this is one thing that I'm going to tell you. If you sit down on your charts and you are looking at your charts, you must learn to look at your charts from this type of standpoint. So what does this tell you? It tells you that we are on course for a very, very beautiful drop to the downside. As far as the dollar is concerned, as far as history is concerned, we are on course for a drop. This is not going to turn around anytime soon. This is not likely going to turn around. And to now make matters worse, when you look at Donald Trump and the way he has been with the policies, with his trade policies since January, one of the things you notice is that it has been highly inconsistent. He's saying that there's a tariff today, he's saying that there's no tariff tomorrow, that we're drawing tariffs. So he has been highly inconsistent, and the market does not really know what to make of that. So now, one thing you also have to know is the guys who offer stable coins tokens. So the guy, when you get on your Binance or your Coinbase or whatever you get on, and you see a USDT or you see a USDC, those stable coins, the issuers of those stable coins are now required by law to purchase US treasuries. But of course, the current holding of those guys, of those stablecoin issuers, is around 100 billion US dollars. Mind you, 100 billion is around 0.05 of the entire 35 trillion US debt that is currently held by the US government. So it is very, very small, and those guys do not have enough power to actually push this to the other side. As much as you might be expecting that, oh, they've now said that they must hold, US debt, that could, send the dollar up and all that. That's not likely going to send the dollar up. There's a very good chance that we're heading down, given the tendencies of the Federal Reserve during each administration. If you look at this is history right before your eyes on the charts. There's a very good chance that the dollar is going to continue to sink and Euro USD is going to continue to trade higher. And as a gift, I'm going to be giving that to the community. To those of you on Telegram, if you have watched this video up to this point, to those of you on Telegram, I'm now going to be coming in and I'm going to be showing you my outlook on crypto, what the crypto market could do, and how you can use this knowledge to actually set yourself up good within the crypto market. So if that's something you're interested in, hit the link in the bio and join the Telegram channel. If you find this on YouTube, check the links in the description. They will all be there. I'll be more than happy to see you on the Telegram channel, where we go on a deeper level. And of course, within the week, we share some of these gems in there as well. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, any interactions, leave them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Cheers.